Week number 3 of my Winter Arc Fitness transformation for a woman of 55 years of age. Today is Sunday, so you know what that means. That is rest day, and I did absolutely no exercise today, but I did do some fun things. I'll share that with you as well. As you can see behind me, I do have some delicious breads that I made that I'm also going to be sharing those recipes with you. They're all gluten-free and they're all ingredients that I had from my shopping haul. That was a couple of videos ago. If you missed that, I'll post it right here and you can go back and see what I actually purchased. But what I have here is a delicious spinach wrap. It is a little ghetto on the edges, honey, but it's going to taste so good. I do have some flatbread. I really missed eating flatbreads like for pizzas and things of that nature. So these are really good for sandwiches, hamburgers, chicken sandwiches, you name it. Hey, the flatbread is great. And I also have some bagels. Now, before I realized that I was gluten intolerant, my favorite bagel used to be the Asiago cheese bagel. And man, did I love that so very much. But these bagels, hey, for me, they are very satisfying. This is what the inside of the bagels look like. Now, they're not going to be as chewy as a regular bagel, but they are very flavorful, and they satisfy that desire to have a bagel, at least for me. So you be the judge whenever you see the recipe and you try it out. So, now, if you're new to gluten-free or anything like that, then let me just explain to you about what gluten is. So gluten is made of wheat, and it is the component in breads and bagels and pizzas and all that donuts and stuff like that that we really crave, that gives all the ooey gooey goodness. But what it does for some women, especially like for me that didn't know that I had a gluten intolerance until I started perimenopause, is it blows your stomach up to the point to where you're looking like you're about 7 or 8 months pregnant. And also for me, at first, I didn't really mind being blowed up a little bit, especially if I was going to be eating at home. But when it started to become painful is when I realized that I had to really take action and try and eliminate all gluten. Now, I do sneak and eat some gluten things when I'm just mad cravings. But for the most part, I try to make my own. And those recipes are going to be coming up. So first things is I'm going to share with you what I did on my rest day.
I live in the city, so it is full of noise pretty much 24/7. But I like to get up really early when the noise is fairly quiet, maybe about 4:35 in the morning, and have my God time where I read the Bible or motivational books, write in my journal, just whatever I can do to just find some peace before all the noise starts. After I did that, I went into the living room to work on my balance and stretching, because as we age, that is so important. It's very helpful for our posture and just for actually walking down the street. I know for me, sometimes I'm walking just normal, then all of a sudden I find myself stumbling into a wall. So I definitely like to work on balance. I know I don't show it a lot in my workout videos, but after every workout, I am stretching and doing some balance exercises. So on this particular day, I wanted to actually get up kind of early and get a head start to go into DC because my girlfriends had come up the weekend before and we did a little sightseeing. So I decided that, hey, I'm going to get up, put on a little makeup, and go and see if I can find some of these sites that we weren't able to see when they were here, just so I can make a special video for them. Now here is my hair, and hopefully in 2025 I'm going to find another style beside the infamous ponytail. But hey, it is what it is, and I'm still cute.
Hey girls, I know we missed this last week because we got kind of lost and everything. So I thought I'd come down here and show you what the MLK statue looks like.
So obviously the best time to go see any of the DC monuments is early in the morning before 8, before anyone gets there. But had a great time with MLK on my rest day. So back at home, so let's get into making these healthy spinach wraps. It only takes just a couple of ingredients that most people have at home already. Definitely going to be a lot cleaner than the wraps that you buy at the grocery store. So I'm going to be making one wrap here. So that's about a cup of spinach that I put in my small food processor along with one egg, or you can use an egg white if you prefer that. And then all you need is your favorite seasonings. I'm using tomato basil. I think it's a little bit of garlic powder. You can use Italian seasoning, just whatever it is that you like, and that's how you want your wrap to taste, and that's what you're going to add inside of the food processor. And then you're just going to blend it up until it's all mixed up really well. Now, in a medium saucepan, you're going to pour all of those ingredients in that pan on probably medium heat. And what I like to do is, after I get all the ingredients in the pan, I like to sort of swish the pan around so that the batter, coats the bottom in order to make it kind of large. Now, one thing that I forgot to actually do here is spray the pan. So as it's starting to bubble up, and that lets me know that it's time to turn it, because it wasn't sprayed, it started to stick. But no worries, I struggled my way through it, and we're going to eat this wrap, and that's how I got the ghetto rigid edges right there. But it was done. I took it off the plate, and I ate it probably the next day after my workout. I decided to make a tuna scramble. So I took a can of tuna. I had a little bit of avocado left, and I added my favorite seasonings to this mixture. And I know most people don't like eating tuna for breakfast, or hadn't even ever thought about eating tuna for breakfast, but it's a good source of protein, along with a couple of eggs and some cottage cheese. And you just mix it up, and that scramble looks great. It goes on that wrap with my protein shake, and that is breakfast. Up next, let's make some flatbread. Now, this is the viral flatbread that you've probably seen all over the internet. It's very high in protein and low carbs. It only takes a cup of cottage cheese, 2 eggs, and your favorite seasoning. So in my small food processor, I'm just adding that 1 cup of cottage cheese along with the 2 eggs. And you can also use egg whites if you like, but I find that it tastes better with the eggs. And I'm adding, I think, again, maybe some garlic powder, tomato basil, Italian, and sometimes I will even add more cheese inside of the flatbread. Like I said, I have a cheese addiction that I'm working on. But after it's blended up on a cookie sheet, you're going to place some parchment paper and spray the parchment paper, and then pour your dough. Now, I like to take a spoon and kind of smooth it out a little bit more, just so that I can stretch it so that it gives me 2 servings of flatbread. And then it goes in the oven for 40 minutes on 350. Now, some people like light skin bread, some people like dark skin, whatever you like. But later in the week, I kind of retoasted the inside of the bread a little bit to make this chicken pesto sandwich. Man, was it delicious. And I also had a very small sweet potato that I made some sweet potato fries with. Would you look at that sandwich? That sandwich is sandwiching with those sweet potato fries. It was so good. I think I actually ate it for 2 days. Delicioso.
Lastly, let's wrap up these recipes by making the bagels. Now, these calories and proteins are pretty equivalent to a store-bought bagel. The only savings you're really going to get here is on the carb count. A store-bought bagel is about 50 grams of carbs, where these are only 19. The ingredients are very simple. They're going to be the same ingredients that I kind of started out with on the flatbread. A half a cup of cottage cheese in my little small food processor, followed up by 1 egg. And as I've mentioned to you before, you can substitute the 1 egg for egg whites if that's what you want to do. I always opt to use the whole egg. Whenever you're doing gluten-free baking, you want to add 1 capful of apple cider vinegar. You won't taste it at all, but it does help with the texture of the bread. So I highly advise you to use that. And then I'm just going to finish up here by adding my favorite seasonings. And in this one, I did add some everything bagel seasoning, and we're just going to blend it up.
For the dry ingredients, I'm going to start off with 3/4 cup of almond flour, 1/4 cup of gluten-free flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then you know I can't get out of the recipe without some more cheese. And then I just added my wet ingredients to the dry ingredients in order to make the dough. Now I'm going to start off making the dough or whipping the dough up with a spoon, but eventually I'm going to put the spoon aside and then just start mixing the dough with my hand. Now, depending on how you like your dough, some people like their dough a little wet. I like mine a little more dry, so I'm going to have to add a little bit more almond flour just to dry it out just a little bit. And then I spent some more time matting and folding and making a ball until the dough was at the consistency that I liked. So I'm going to be making 3 medium bagels with this dough. I put it on parchment paper, and then I like my bagels kind of flat, so I patted them down some, and then I'm going to use my finger to poke the hole in the center of the bagel. Of course, you could use a utensil if you like. Hey, I'm old school. I can do it really quickly this way. And then before it goes in the oven, I added a little egg white wash on top for the browning, followed up by some more everything bagel seasoning. Now this is going to go in the oven, 375, for about 25 minutes. And then it's going to come out golden brown. And I had these bagels as sandwiches, and in this case, as a breakfast toast.
I love to hear what you have to say about all of these simple recipes. Will you be trying it? Let me know in the comments below what you think about making these at home.
This week's workouts pretty much remained consistent with the other couple of weeks' workouts, where on Mondays and Thursdays it's going to be my lower body. I do see some improvement in my form, because whenever you're making these videos, you know, sometimes it's very good to go back and just kind of look at your form and look at the progression over time. Now on Monday and Thursday when I went to the gym this week, I was unable to use the Smith machine because it was already taken, so I had to modify my lower body routine by using the dumbbells, and the dumbbells do go up to like 50 pounds each, so that's pretty much enough for what I need to be doing at this point. I did increase my weights a little bit, maybe by 5 pounds here and there on some of the exercise, which was really good. I was really happy to see that I could handle that weight. Now, when I got to these Bulgarian split squats, I didn't use any weight because I really noticed the last couple of times that I attempted these that my form was all wobbly whenever I did use dumbbells. So I just really focused on my form here this week and just used maybe like 2 pounds or 5 pound dumbbells. And then of course I finished all of my lower body workouts with the treadmill. So on Tuesdays and Fridays was upper body, and last week you saw me struggling with my push-ups, but I did pretty good this time. I did my 3 sets of 10 and didn't wobble too much until I got to the very end. And then I wasn't able to use the cable machine this week either because someone was on it. But hey, you do what you have to do. I still kept working out, and I did find some new ways of using this lat down machine by going and getting some of the different handles from the cable machine that weren't being used and just placed them on this machine in order to do some single arm pull downs. So I really felt good this week. I was not as tired as I had been previously. I do feel that I am making a lot of progress. I can't wait to next week to do a body check just to kind of see where I am. I know that 4 weeks is really not enough time to show a big difference, but I'm really confident that, you know, I'm going to see some improvement over week 1. And as always on Upper Body Day, I rode myself to the finish line with the row machine. Whew!
It's rest day, walk day, Wednesday, and I hope that you're out and about, whatever day it is that you're watching this, and getting your exercise. It's about 6:45 in the morning, and I know the sun's not up yet, so you're probably like, well, why you have on your sunglasses? Because where I'm going to be walking is going to be so windy, and it's almost going to be kind of blinding wind to the eye, so I want to go ahead and just put them on. But I'm going to try and get about 4 to 5 miles. I think I'm only going to go maybe down about 2.5 miles, and then turn around and come back. On this particular trail, I think going one way could easily be like 5 miles, but I ain't got time for that today. So yeah, let's get going. So not only is it going to be windy on this trail, it's going to be loud as hell. You probably can already hear. So that's why I'm going to come on here real quick and share with you an aha moment that I had during my meditation and prayer time this morning that kind of piggybacks on what I talked about last week in my walk, Wednesday walk. And if you missed that, I'll post the video right here. But in that video last week, I talked about how earlier in this year was sort of like a very bad time for me, and I had lost a lot of things, whether it's relationship or business, money, all of that. But this morning, what God revealed to me was that God hears all and sees all and knows all, and that we aren't privy to all of those conversations that are being held behind our back and so forth. So sometimes those things that we think were working, like it just seemed like it was all going so smoothly, but then suddenly stop working, and we just have all of these questions of, well, why? What did I do? And why is this no longer working? Because God intervened on our behalf and saved us from a lot of heartache, undue stress, and even though those trials, we were under stress before, hey, it's always gonna be better in God's timing. So I say to that, hey, smile when you encounter troubles, because it's working for your good. Now, I think my sound barrier is ending, so here comes the noise. That was pretty crazy, huh? How loud it is. So I'm back inside of the sound barrier. I probably have about a mile left on my walk. And the hills that I didn't show you on this trail. And you can see that not every trail has to be a wooded trail. This is a highway trail that they've built that takes you from Alexandria, Virginia, all the way over to Maryland, where the casino is, in like Oxon Hill. So a very unique trail, and I really love it. It's challenging. Nobody really is out walking, so on the weekends it's pretty crowded. But before I end my walk, I just want to come on again and just say that I hope that my journey as a 55-year-old woman is inspiring each of you that's watching to go after your goals, not just during the winter arc season, but every single day. I mean, definitely if you're over 50, like I am, you have more years behind you than you do ahead. So stop wasting time. Stop putting up with all kind of bullshit from people and live out your best life. Especially, I'm very passionate about the health and fitness because, you know, on my dad's side of the family, there's so many people, relatives that have passed away from poor health, and I just refuse to be one of those. I'm not on any medications, and I'm so grateful for that. And I know that some of you may be watching this and saying, well, I don't have all these trails that you're walking, or I don't have a gym to go to. You don't need a damn gym. right inside of your home is your gym. If you don't want to walk outside or afraid to walk outside or can't walk outside, then just like you're watching me here on YouTube, there's a lot of YouTube channels that are channels about walking, chair workouts. And if you're saying, I don't have any dumbbells, you have water bottles. Use your laundry detergent bottle as a dumbbell, large dumbbell, or use it as a kettlebell. Stop making damn excuses. You have to take ownership of your own health if you're going to make it in this third quarter. So that's what this channel is really about, third quarter living. Someone asked me about that. I'm like, what's third quarter living? Hey, 50 to 75, this is it. After that, we be in the grave. So get up, get going, and get there. Because I'm going to finish this walk and then finish out with my day. Let's take a look at my macros and calories and protein, fats, and all that for this week. I'm using MyFitnessPal to log all of my meals. I'm not using the paid version, so a lot of the information may not be 100% accurate, but I think it's a good indication of what I'm eating. You can see here that my breakdown, my macro goal is a 35, 35, 30. And looks like I'm doing pretty good. I'm coming in under my carbs, which are primarily going to be the apples that I eat, the vegetables that I eat. Not really eating a whole lot of breads other than what I've actually cooked. Stuff like that. Fats hanging in there, a little bit high, but I've got to work on getting that down. Protein, my goal was to hang in somewhere between 140 and 150. I'm a little bit under that, so I'm going to really work on trying to increase that by about 12 grams. These are my calories for this week thus far, and you'll notice that on all of these screenshots that Sunday is missing. That's because I take Sunday completely off. I'm not obsessing over logging my meals on Sunday. I do eat still pretty clean, or either I'll fast for the full day, so there's no need to put anything there. So I do give myself a break completely on Sunday, but you can see that I do front load my meals and carbs for breakfast and lunch is where my heavy hitter calories are eaten. Dinner, I try and keep it kind of light, and snacks on the light side as well. So my goal is 1,600 a day, and I'm averaging about 1,492 calories for this week. Overall, everything looks, I'm satisfied with it. There are some sugars averaging about 38, with the goal being 75. So I'm coming in under that, and I'll have to really start looking at the labels even more intense to try and see where the hidden sugars are coming from. I'm pretty sure it's probably it's one of those hidden sugars that's in like the yogurts, the cottage cheese, or whatever, because I'm really not ingesting like a lot of sodas and cookies and candies outside of the protein ones that I make. Now these fats, I got to get those fats under control. I'm sure that that's the dairy. I'm still a sucker for cheese, and I've really got to work on that. But so far this week, I'm pretty happy with these numbers. I can't complain. Finally, the scale's here. I got this scale from Amazon because my other one died on me. So I'm really excited to learn how it all works. It's supposed to track 13 essential biometrics like weight, BMI, body fat, muscle mass, and a couple of other things. You have to download this free app, and then once you step on the scale, it's supposed to send all that data to the app for you to analyze. Now, I'm not going to be weighing myself today because I've already have a full day of eating and a belly full of water, so I'm just going to wait until I wake up in the morning and void all that out and then step on the scale. So the maximum capacity is 400 pounds. Now, I'm nowhere near 400 pounds. I'm hoping around 195. Like I mentioned to you before, I'm 5'10", around 195. My ideal weight that I really like myself at is around 175. But, with perimenopause, you have weight gain, and as you age and have children, your body changes and so forth. So I'm really not focusing so much on the weight, but on myself getting stronger. But sometimes that we just get on the scale and we look at that number and then we just have a whole on meltdown. So I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case. But yeah, the scale's here. So once I do weigh myself and figure out the app, I will definitely be posting the results. So that's it for the scale.